Historians and architects are important. So they are a connection. They help us to connect to our culture. It's also important as the building the puzzle of identity. We were having a bit of a discussion of not just forget the national part, but it's also important as an identity, as an individual. You know about your history. So, for instance, like a family tree, it's important to you know what's actually happening, and also as a society. It's as an archaeologist and as a historian, it's the push for it most of the time is a need for knowledge, and also the thrill of the unknown. When you go to an archive that hasn't been opened up for 200 years, it's a thrill. You have no idea what you're gonna find. It's the thing. It's the same when you're on a dig and you find something that hasn't been touched like for 1,000 years or more. So you are the connection to the past, and then you have to present it and reveal the past to understand the present to the others as well. And architects are really important in some instances where it's important. I have to say this in some instances. Sorry, to bring back. Sorry. Architects, sometimes they take design elements or shapes, or it could be other things, and they bring back the past ideas to the present. We came with an example. I think it was you.
Yeah, like if they want to build a new building, like they can use patterns or shapes from ancient buildings, and like to reflect the past in new buildings.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how we can preserve it is by raising awareness, especially in the young generation in most instances. It's the same as when you're dealing with intangible, like the crafts that Romania was explaining before. Also, to get together and discuss culture like we're actually doing today. It's how we become and appreciate not just our culture, but the culture of our other nations, and how we get to actually to know. So it's a theme that is related to education in itself, which we actually also listed. So it's not just education, class education, like school education, but it's also family education, where you show people, it's as we were saying, the behavior, etc. It's still part of our education itself. We were dealing also with conservation and restoration. Funding is very important. That's how we actually do digs and conservation and the restoration of objects or buildings. And we also made it, it was really important for us, the mutual respect between different cultures. That's how we actually preserve cultural heritage. Because as you know, and we were also discussing it before, that there are some instances where it's not a national thing. There are so many overlapping instances, like we mentioned Greece and Macedonia, for instance, that there are similarities in certain history and other cultural heritage related matters. I think that's it. No, if you want to add anything?
Yeah. No. Fine.
Yeah, I can't.
Thank you.
Thank you.